I'm here to talk about the Design in India Challenge by Qualcomm. So a little bit of history. About 2.5 years ago, when the Prime Minister met with industry leaders in Silicon Valley, our executive chairman of Qualcomm, Dr. Paul Jacobs, made a commitment to the government's Make in India program by coming up with an initiative called Design in India. The Design in India initiative hopes to create product and hardware ecosystem to drive local manufacturing. Because for a company like ours, which makes silicon, it's the design that comes first before manufacturing. The three main components of this Design in India program are the following. There's a Design in India challenge itself, which I'll cover in detail. Then we're also collaborating with a lot of Indian universities through a program called the Innovation Fellowship. And then we've made available a venture fund of $150 million specifically to invest in Indian startups. The bedrock of all this is the willingness of a company like Qualcomm to enable all of its technologies, be it security, be it application processors, be it connectivity, be it 4G, and even upcoming 5G, make it available to the Indian startup ecosystem. So now getting into the details of the Design in India challenge, the main concept here is that it's a program that supports the hardware ecosystem in India, that's geared for Make in India, which means that these hardware startups and the ecosystem should actually make stuff in India. And the goal is to nurture and mentor them with incentives. So there is a cash award that's provided at every stage of the cycle. This is primarily designed for startups. And the incubation cycles are supported out of our innovation labs in Bangalore and Hyderabad. So we have a dedicated team of very experienced hardware and software engineers who will actually handhold these startups and help them with their product. We have partnered with NASSCOM for taking it pan-India. So NASSCOM helps us through their different initiatives to identify potential startups. And the areas of interest currently that we're looking at are robotics. Cochin has a lot of these companies. Machine learning, smart cities, so any kinds of industrial or smart city solutions. Smart devices, so if you're making some really cool gadgets, this competition is for you. And we're also interested in working with startups who are in the med tech and the agri-tech space. So this is the focus of the Design in India program. This was launched in 2016. And just to give you an idea of how we did in the last couple of years, in 2016, we incubated 10 startups, 10 hardware and product startups. We gave away $400,000 in incentives, either in prize money or seed capital. And we selected 3 winners at the end of that almost 1-year cohort. These 3 winners, Uncanny Vision, Arc Robot, and CarSense, were then recognized at a function in Delhi, and they were given away. They were given a pretty good cash award. Last year, we incubated 14 startups, so we increased the number of startups we brought on board. $440,000 in incentives and prize money. We selected 4 winners this time, and 2 winners have already been announced, and 2 more will be announced in May. In fact, I was at a session downstairs in one of the parallel tracks where I heard a lady, the Indian Angels lady, talk about Tagbox, them funding Tagbox. Incidentally, Tagbox was also a winner in the design challenge. So that should tell you that the startups that we're working with are also being recognized by the ecosystem from a ventures point of view also. So what are we doing in 2018? We want to continue the same Design in India challenge in 2018, but for a wider impact. And what does that mean? The startup challenge will continue, but this time the cohort will be 15 startups. We'll have increased startup exposure. The startups selected here will be showcased at the Qualcomm booth at CES and also at the Qualcomm LTE Summit that happens every year in Hong Kong. So we'll actually take selected startups to these shows to give them increased awareness and potentially customer connections. There's also a patent filing incentive. We are actually encouraging these startups to come up with innovative ideas, not only in their product, but also in the form of IP. So if these startups eventually end up filing patents with the India Patent Office, they will be awarded a patent incentive. And finally, all these startups will get support in the form of scaling and acceleration through our partners called Anthill Ventures. Anthill Ventures is a firm based out of Hyderabad, and they will run a 7-month intervention program for all these startups in areas such as building teams, managing cash flow, securing funding, figuring out what kind of product they need to design, what kind of customers they need to go after, which is essentially market potential, and also helping them get industry connects. So for example, if there's a great medtech product, they'll connect you with, say, Dr. Reddy's Labs or Apollo Hospitals. If it's a great fintech product, they'll connect you to Yes Bank or HDFC. And finally, probably the most important thing that they'll help the startups with is getting ready for the pre-Series A and the Series A pitch, which is important for startups as they mature, as they want to scale. They need to get to that next level, and Anthill Ventures is going to help in that aspect also. So all this is provided free of cost to the 15 startups that are selected as part of our cohort. From a timeline perspective, the registration is actually live right now as we speak, and it'll go on till the 19th of April. That's when you can go in. I'll show the URL later on, but you can go in and apply online, submit your ideas, tell us who you are, and tell us what kind of markets you're going after. Submit your ideas before the 19th of April. Sometime in the early May timeframe, of all these applications that we get online, we'll pick 15 startups. And each of these startups will be given a seed capital of $10,000 to get started with their work. They can use this $10,000 any way they like. There is no questions asked, there's no return, there's no equity exchange. This is specifically for the startups to maybe buy more equipment or hire a consultant or whatever. Between June and February of 2019 will be the incubation phase. This incubation phase will be supported through our labs in Bangalore and Hyderabad. We'll also be able to work with you remotely, but we have all the equipment and all the dedicated engineering staff in Hyderabad and Bangalore. So we will support the startups to refine their product in these labs. And finally, in March of next year, we will announce one winner and 2 runners-up with about $225,000 in prize money. The areas of design and hardware that we're looking for in startups are the following at the bottom. Rural IoT, anything that connects the rural part of India, which is about 70% of where the population lives, and helps bridge the digital divide. We're looking for solutions there. Agri-tech, med-tech, infrastructure for smart cities, biometrics, and payments. So these are the areas that are vitally important to India over the next 10 years. And we're looking for great startup ideas in this space. A quick overview of the incubation that we do, just to give you an idea of what incubation in our world looks like. So we'll work with the startups that we select. We'll understand their requirements. We'll give them prototype kits, right? And then work with them on their hardware and software development plans. We'll then help them get their form factor design ready. We'll engage with them in terms of getting them partners to build the product for them. We'll also help them with their pitch and collaterals, how to make their presentation sharper, for example, how to approach the market with their product in a very specific way, impactful way. And finally, the third phase would be helping them with the final design, get those designs certified if need be, if required. We'll also help through Anthill on the business development part and on the investment support. So this is what we intend to do during the life cycle of the cohort. In terms of the platforms that we'll make available, essentially all of the Qualcomm Snapdragon processors are available for you to use. In addition to that, we'll enable all our connectivity solutions, 2G, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, NB-IoT, and Cat-M1, which are essentially cellular IoT technologies. And we'll enable platforms on both Android and Linux. So there's a complete flexibility for a startup to work on these platforms. And these are the various kinds of devices you can build, to your right with these platforms. In addition to Snapdragon, we're also going to provide chipsets and silicon from Qualcomm Atheros, which are essentially Wi-Fi and Zigbee, for solutions such as smart home and automation. And then from Qualcomm CSR, which are essentially our Bluetooth and Bluetooth mesh solutions for, again, smart automation and agri-tech. So this is the full range, the full portfolio of of Qualcomm's products that we're enabling for startups as part of this challenge. In terms of the labs that we have, this is a fully dedicated lab for these startups. No cost involved at all. It's completely free of charge for the startups in this cohort. So we have the full range of equipment. We have RF test chambers. We have camera labs. We have audio labs. We have software design tools free of cost for you guys to use. To wind it up, this is our website. The website is now live. You can visit the website to enter your application. Our colleagues here are also available to hand out cards. So please, these cards are handy, and that way you don't have to note down the URL. So we'll be happy to hand it over to you if you're interested. You can pick it up from my colleagues here. And I look forward to seeing quite a few entries of startups from Cochin and from Kerala as part of this design challenge. We'd love to have representation from the state of Kerala, and of course from other states also in this campaign this year. That's it. Thank you so much.